Yep. Are we ready? It's right here if you need it.
Welcome, everyone. Come on in. We're sitting in the front row, all right? We're sitting in the front row.
We're gonna. Adonai, Kol haaretz, shiru l'Adonai, shir chadash, shiru l'Adonai, Kol haaretz, shiru l'Adonai, shir chadash. Sing unto God, all the earth, a new song. I will sing unto God a new song. Sing unto God, and we'll all sing along. All the earth, a new song unto God. Shiru l'Adonai, Kol haaretz, shiru l'Adonai, shir chadash.
Shabbat shalom, everyone. Shabbat shalom. I would just want to note we have now a full minyan and more in the room, and it's great to have you here. And I know that a lot of people are planning to join remotely, and I hope you can see us. Jennifer Sauer, do you know that live control is working? Awesome. So my laptop's not loading you. So we're going to know you are there. I spoke to some people even today and this week who said, we'll be with you remotely. I'm sorry, though, it means maybe Jennifer will fix it. All right. We are in this space with a special new cantorial soloist filling in. Marina is gone, and Naomi Rogan is here with us. Some of you might know Naomi. I mean, you know Naomi. And many of you probably have benefited from her work in the Barnett Temple office, and you might have seen her kids here at some point also. And Naomi has a beautiful voice and has lots of experience leading in prayer. So you're here with us tonight, and that's so wonderful. Thank you. And also Janet Montroy, as always. I told Janet she's in charge tonight. Okay. Oh, okay. I don't know if I have Touch ID. This is, one of those moments of 2025 Judaism. Okay, thank you. So we are here to welcome Shabbat, as we do every Friday. And we are also here to celebrate TuBiSh'vat. We formally observed it yesterday. And it's a holiday that has changed quite a lot over the years, right? We know TuBiSh'vat as the New Year of the Trees, which is its biblical origin, right, as sort of a practical purpose of demarcating the years of a harvest of the fruit of trees. Then in the 1500s, the Kabbalists added a sort of spiritual dimension to TuBiSh'vat. They saw many connections between human beings and trees, and also through trees as a way to connect to the divine. And then, with the founding of the State of Israel, TuBiSh'vat took on yet another association and meaning as a holiday for planting trees. And then, around the 1970s, it took on an environmentalist kind of ethos, which it still has today in many communities, both in modern Israel and the US. It's like our Jewish Earth Day. So now you know. We will be touching on many of those themes tonight in the service. And I wanted to actually start with a moment of mindfulness. Because every minute of our lives, we are actually participating in an exchange with nature. It's in the very air we breathe. Trees, plants, even algae and cyanobacteria photosynthesize. Nature is taking in carbon dioxide and releasing oxygen for us. So, let's take a deep breath in. And as we inhale, we are being breathed by the earth. And release. We let the breath out, and we'll offer it back to God's creation. We'll continue together on bracketed page 138.
Shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad, Hishmi'anu el hameyuchad, Adonai echad, u'shemo echad, L'shem u'tiferet v'hila la 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 Adodi, Likrat kala, B'nei Shabbat nekabela, L'cha Adodi, Likrat kala, B'nei Shabbat nekabela, Likrat Shabbat l'chuven echad, Ki makor habaracha, merosh mekedem nesucha, Sof ma'aseh v'machshava tchila la 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 Adodi, Likrat Shabbat, B'nei Shabbat nekabela, Adodi, Likrat kala, B'nei Shabbat nekabela. Hitoreri, Ki ba'orech, U'umi uri dekabeli, Kavod Adonai Alai, Likrat Adodi, Likrat kala, B'nei Shabbat nekabela, L'cha Adodi, Likrat kala, B'nei Shabbat nekabela.
Now we'll rise and face the entrance to wherever you are, and we'll join together in verse 9.
Boi v'shalom ateret bala, Gam b'simcha u'b'tzachara, Tov emuneh am segula, Boi chala, Boi chala, Boi chala. Lecha Dodi, Likrat kala, B'nei Shabbat nekabela, Lecha Dodi, Likrat kala, B'nei Shabbat nekabela, la 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 Lecha Dodi, Likrat kala, B'nei Shabbat nekabela, Lecha Dodi, Likrat kala, B'nei Shabbat nekabela.
Bracketed page 142, and you may be seated. Now, Mark and Hope Rothenberg, would you join us to light the Shabbat candles? Bracketed page 120.
Oh, hear our prayer, we sing to you. Be gracious to the ones we love.
as we do, we will add our blessings from this week to make our Kiddush cup overflow. So anything you're feeling grateful for or celebrating or proud of. And I am going to take a moment to join the chat right now so that if you're joining us from home, you can also write in your blessings, and I will see them and I can share them with the community. There we go. By the magic of the internet. So what do we have? Yeah, Janet has a blessing.
I had a birthday yesterday, and I was amazed. The phone kept ringing with wishes and people sent flowers. So it was very gratifying. A couple of grandchildren called me.
That's wonderful.
I didn't know that some people remembered when.
Yes, amazing. Janet's sharing that she celebrated birthday yesterday and received a lot of outreach. And Janet, I know Rabbi Steiner wants to give you a blessing for this birthday next week. Good. I want to make sure we're not. Okay, good. Well, happy birthday. Yeah, Joan.
Lovely visit from Elise, and Etienne is coming tomorrow, so nice to get family.
Wonderful. Joan has Elise here, and Etienne will join for a weekend of family. And Alice. Oh, wow. Was it without their parents? Oh. Oh, nice. A play date with great niece. I was thinking next step, without their parents. That is such a nice thing for their parents. Soon. Joanne Siegel's writing a blessing that she's grateful to have several people helping with errands and chores, including Hope. And glad to have a virtual visit with her great niece, Eloise. And Eileen Candler enjoyed spending 3 lovely weeks in Florida with dear friends. Great. Anyone else in the room? It's a week of sadness, I know, and loss, and also of blessing. So, other blessings. Yeah, Marla.
My daughter had a mild concussion in the end of the Vegas, but was cleared by her doctor to go on the trip to London for work, and she made it home and was cleared by the doctor yesterday.
Wonderful. So Marla's daughter's mild concussion is improving. Good. Very good. Yeah, I have been inspired by TuBiSh'vat and my extensive research of Jewish texts about trees. Been feeling just the blessing of the mystery and magic of nature. And I hope we'll touch on a little bit of that tonight, and I'll get to give you a taste of it. But I've also been physically seeing myself as a tree. Because I read in my, in all this searching about how we are similar in stature, that we have roots, we can plant ourselves in the ground, trunks and branches. And it's really, before the service, I was, getting in the Shabbat mode and noticing that trees are always a standing witness and they're always offering praise and feeling really inspired by this holiday. So that's a blessing for me. Yeah.
We used to have the TuBiSh'vat Seder here.
Yes, we have had TuBiSh'vat Seders at Barnard. I know, not in the years I've been here recently, but hey, you want to have a TuBiSh'vat Seder next year? Let's do it. As we say, thank you so much for volunteering. Yeah, but okay, yes. Oh, wonderful.
Very nice.
And did you mix your grape juices? Yes, and good. So it's also good to be with folks who are joining remotely. And now, that was our blessing. So now we will join together in Kiddush on bracketed page. You all know that, 123.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu
V'Shabbat kodsho v'yahavu ratzon hinchilanu zikaron l'maaseh v'reishit ki hu yom techila l'mikra'e kodesh zecher l'tziat Mitzrayim ki vanu v'acharta ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodshecha ve'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat. We stay standing in body or in spirit on bracketed page 146. To be breathed by the earth with a deep breath in. Page 152.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kivod Malachuto Leolam Vaed.
Page 154, please be seated.
V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha v'chol nafshecha uv'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantan levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'beitecha uv'lechtecha b'derech uv'shochbecha uv'kumecha ug'shartam leot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot b'neinecha uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha u'risharecha leman tizkaru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'yitem kedoshim lelohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim v'yot lachem Elohim ani Adonai Elohechem.
I'm going to invite you to go to page 235 in the brackets. This is a reading which reflects some of the parts of the Ve'ahavta prayer, and I thought it would be appropriate for us to read it together tonight. If we can hear the words from Sinai, then love will flow from us, and we shall serve all that is holy with all our intellect and all our passion and all our life. If we can serve all that is holy, we shall be doing all that humans can to help the rains to flow, the grasses to be green, the grains to be golden like the sun, and the rivers to be filled with life once more. All the children of God shall eat, and there will be enough. But if we turn from Sinai's words and serve only what is common and profane, making gods of our own comfort or power, then the holiness of life will contract for us. Our world will grow inhospitable. Let us therefore lace these words into our passion and our intellect, and bind them as a sign upon our hands and eyes. Let us write them in mezuzot upon our doors, and teach them to our children. Let us honor the generations that came before us, keeping the promise for those yet to be. On page 158. Page 160.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom, Hamidenu shomreinu lechaim. Spread the shelter of your peace over us. Guide us sake of your name. Shield us from hatred, sorrow, and pain. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom. V'hamidenu shomreinu lechaim.
A prayer by Rabbi Nachman of Breslov. Grant me the ability to be alone. May it be my custom to go outdoors each day, among the trees and grasses, among all growing things, and there may I be alone and enter into prayer to talk with the one to whom I belong. Please rise on page 164.
Adonai tzifatai tiftach ufi agi tehilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu avoteinu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor Ve'hanora El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim V'koneh Hakol V'zocher Chasdei Avot Ve'imatot Mevi Gula Livnei V'neihem Lema'an Shema V'Yahava Melech Otzer U'Moshiach U'Magen Baruch atah Adonai Magen Avraham Ve'ezrat Sarah Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai Mechayei HaKol Rav Lehoshiach Mashib HaRuach U'Morid HaGashem Mechakel Chaim Bechesed Mechayei HaKol Berachamim Rabim Sonech Noflim V'Rofeh Cholim Umatir Asurim Umekayem Emunato Lishenei Afar Micha Melach Bar Gevurot Umido Melach Melech Memit Umechayeh Umatzmiach Yeshua V'nehemar atah lachayot hakol Baruch atah Adonai Mechayei hakol Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh Ukadosh bim b'chol yom Yalu chasela Baruch atah Adonai Ha'el HaKadosh.
We continue privately through page 180, seated or standing as is your custom. Tzedek katamar yifrach, that was chosen also for this evening. The righteous, like a date palm, will bloom even in the desert. So now we decided to bring you a Torah service this Friday evening, as Barnard Temple has done many times. And we'll take the Torah out of the ark and we'll sing a very familiar phrase, Eitz Chaim Hi, right? It likens the Torah to a tree of life. And after we chant Torah and bless it, we will then have a chance to actually speak about that phrase. What does that metaphor mean for us? What can we learn from Torah and from trees? And I really planned it as a study session with texts, so we'll pass out a source sheet. And I am so glad I did, because I feel like this is a perfect group to engage in some words of Torah together. So please rise as we take the Torah out of the ark.
It's Chaim Chi, Lamachzikim Bo, V'tom Hecha Me'ushar, Darcheino, Darcheino, V'chol Netivotecha Shalom. Al Shlosha Devarim, Al Shlosha Devarim, Al Shlosha Devarim, Ha'olam, Amen. Al Shlosha Devarim, Al Shlosha Devarim, Al Shlosha Devarim, Ha'olam, Amen. Al HaTorah ve'al Avodah ve'al Gemilut Chasadim, Al HaTorah ve'al Avodah ve'al Gemilut Chasadim.
Wonderful. I'm just going to I should do this carefully. Undress the Torah. And it's okay. For the blessing, for the Aliyah to the Torah, I would really love to dedicate our Torah reading and Torah studying tonight to Dan Brooks. And so if you were a friend of Dan's or in adult learning classes with him here at Barnard, please join us on the Bima, and I'd love for you to offer the blessing over this Torah reading. Have it there. So for those who might not know, Dan just died yesterday, and he was an ardent and devoted studier of the Torah with us here at Barnard Temple nearly every Saturday morning. I think we can sort of share Dan's Torah was to insist that the Torah be relevant to the world around us. And he was always seeing connections to historical events and current events and bringing that into the conversation. And I think that's such an important piece because it's part of what we'll talk about with what does it mean to live Torah and for Torah to be a living, breathing entity. It has to live in us and it has to apply itself to the world. So we learned that from him. And in his honor, please, I will open up, make sure I'm in the right spot, and then we'll do the blessing. Baruch Adonai Hambarach Le'olam Va'ed. Noten HaTorah. Amen. Vayehi v'yom hashlishi b'hiyot haboker. Vayehi kolot uverakim ve'anan kaved al hahar ve'kol shofar chazak me'od. Chazak me'od. Vayecherad kol ha'am asher b'machaneh. Vayotze Moshe ta'am likrat ha'elohim min ha'machaneh. Vayityatzvu b'tachtit ha'har. V'har Sinai ashan kulo mipnei asher yarad alav Adonai ba'esh vayal ashan no ke'ashen hakivshan vayecherad kol hahar me'od. Vayehi kol hashofar holech v'chazak me'od. Moshe yedaber v'ha'elohim yanenu b'kol. Amen. Thank you. We'll keep the Torah out and covered while we study, right? Did I miss anything? No, thank you. I told her she's in charge. I mean, I know I missed some things, but we're not going to go back at this point. So for folks at home, I did add this source sheet to the online community page. So where you can go under our community, online community, under today's date, where you can go to find the live control link. You can also, you'll see text study, it's hyperlinked. So please click there and it'll bring you to the sources we're using. And in the room, we'll pass out some source sheets. We can take one and pass, please. Thank you. Yeah. Here. Yeah, thank you.
John.
So our first source is from Proverbs. Thank you. And I would love, we have a mic on a stand, or no? We don't really. All right, so I will read the sources. Okay, that's simpler, so everyone at home can hear. So this is the verse that we just sang. It comes from the book of Proverbs. Torah is a tree of life to those who grasp her, and whoever holds on to her is happy. So the first question, I mean, there's the metaphor. Torah is a tree of life. So why do you think that the Torah is compared to a tree of life? What does that tell us about Torah? What do you make of it? So we're taught to live by the Torah, and so in what sense? Oh, we turn to Torah for instruction. So the life part being prominent there for you. Yeah, Cheryl. Yes. So even though the Torah, I mean, we know we would never change a word of the Torah, and yet you're saying in a way it does grow every year. Like a tree, it's always growing and changing because we grow and change, and so what we draw from it. Yeah. Okay, Florette has an issue. Yes, I like an issue. What's the issue? Because the word is feminine, I mean, in a gendered language. That's the simple answer. But, yeah. sure there's more to conversation there, but yes, Steve, and then, oh, sorry. I'll get you next. Steve, you can go ahead. Yeah, Steve.
It seems to me since Hebrew, the letters also stand for numbers.
Mm-hmm.
So in addition to changing over time, it provides a amount of stability. With math, it doesn't change over time.
Okay, so, and in a sense, I think trees also are quite a stable feature in our world. I mean, a young tree, we can observe it growing in our own lifetimes, but mature trees seem to exist almost eternally, and so there's something very stable in Torah, stabilizing for us. Yes, and Claire? They're automatically right. Because natural, sort of a fact of nature. Trees, I have to repeat everything, I'm sorry, even though you say it all beautifully. Trees provide shelter to us in the way that Torah provides it, maybe a more spiritual shelter through the ups and downs of life. Yes? It's great. See, that was only one verse, but maybe we'll add to it. And so I'll read from Psalms. Happy is the man, or of course the person, who has not walked in the counsel of the wicked, nor stood in the way of sinners, nor sat in the seat of the scornful. But his delight is in the Torah of Adonai, and on God's law he meditates day and night. And he shall be like a tree planted by streams of water, that brings forth its fruit in its season, and whose leaf does not wither, and in whatsoever he does he shall prosper. Not so the wicked, who are like the chaff, which the wind drives away. So in this text, it's now a person who's being compared to the living tree. We've moved from Torah to the person. So what do you think, what is this text saying? Let's start there. What's it saying? What makes a person happy? Yeah, Marla.
Those that study Torah and follow its laws.
So studying Torah and following its laws and not being wicked. Yeah. Yeah, Claire. Yeah, a certain kind of happiness that you're describing as fulfillment, a sense of fulfillment and meaning from doing, like, changing the world for the better, and also this, you mentioned stability, the sense of you have something to come back to, you have something guiding you. You can kind of always be chasing after the wicked, pleasures and things, but there is something true and enduring to Torah that bears fruit. I think that is true. It's not always in some direct causal way that we live by Torah and God rewards us. I don't actually believe that, but I think that this text may not be even saying that. There's a certain kind of like inner satisfaction and fulfillment from living a life according to one's values and a value system. And Florette. Mm-hmm. So Torah and Jewish tradition does say that at times, right? We have it in the Ve'ahavta, you shall teach them to your children. But the fruit of the trees is actually not often, when I've seen this metaphor dissected, it's not always children, it's actually not often children. The fruit, so you've seen it as knowledge. Yes, knowledge and wisdom. We'll come back to this image at the end. I want to offer that. And conversely, I think of it as also the deeds that come from knowledge. But the deeds might be the roots in the tree metaphor, because there's a very Kabbalistic notion that there's basically a tree in the higher realms that's the opposite of the trees here, where the roots are the uppermost, and then the branches are reaching down to us. And so you can imagine a mirror reflecting, and this is the way that the emanations of the divine kind of come down into our realm. Yeah, it is. Yeah. Yeah, Stephen.
I look at it more like a community, not an individual.
Mm.
So a tree is based upon communities cooperate together in order for any one individual to survive. It's got a community knowledge to go in.
Yes, absolutely. So you're gonna love the next page. That's exactly where we're going. But don't turn yet, because I want to Judaism has a lot to say about the relationship between people and trees, and even the similarities. And so I'm curious if anyone, now moving the metaphor from Torah to the person as a tree, a living tree, any other connections you can think of? I mean, you offered one, actually. That is an answer to that question, sort of interconnectedness, and that we thrive in community. Any other thoughts? Yeah, Alice. Yes, yeah, happy is the person who's rooted in tradition. Like, we too benefit when we are deeply rooted. And I would say both in Torah, in tradition, and also with a connection to God. Those waters flowing, sort of nourishing the tree, to me are about maintaining an active spiritual life and practice. And wherever you find that, and it may be in nature, right? And it might be in the words of prayers in Torah. But let's keep going to this. Oh, so I'll preface the next page by saying what I chanted. I'm sorry, I didn't translate it immediately. So we're in Parshat Yitro, and Yitro is, may know Yitro, the father-in-law of Moses, and he gives Moses some very good advice in this Torah portion about delegation, and so that's there. And also, we read the Ten Commandments in this Torah portion. We actually read the story of Revelation, and it's I read to you that there was thunder and lightning and shofars, horns blasting, and smoke rising up. And at first, the people are trembling, and then 2 verses later, the mountain is trembling. And Moses draws them out, and they see all of the fireworks of nature. And it struck me that God chose the wilderness, and on top of a mountain, and in fire, actually, there's fire and smoke. And natural wonders as a setting in which to deliver revelation. And normally, I've thought about that as because it made an impression. I mean, it was really majestic and scary, and it got their attention, absolutely. But returning to it this week with this frame of TuBiSh'vat, and I thought, well, maybe God was also saying to them, you have something to learn from the natural world. That this setting is important, and you need to return to it, ourselves personally. Like, sometimes we feel discombobulated, disconnected. You need to go out in the world and reconnect. And also, communally, we return to that setting every time we read Parshat Yitro. So that's the question, is what do we have to learn from nature that maybe there's more than meets the eye? Because that, I would say, is absolutely true of Torah, right? The reason we keep going back is because there are layers of meaning below the pshat, below the simple literal meaning of the Torah. There's much more for us to glean. So this is an example for me of reading nature the way we do Torah. And I will read it as well. So it's on the mic. So this is an excerpt from Michael Pollan's article, which I know is part of a larger book he wrote that appeared in the New Yorker. The most bracing part of Mancuso's talk on bioinspiration came when he discussed underground plant networks. Citing the research of Suzanne Simard, a forest ecologist at the University of British Columbia, and her colleagues, Mancuso showed a slide depicting how trees in a forest organize themselves into far-flung networks, using the underground web of mycorrhizal fungi, which connects their roots to exchange information and even goods. This wood wide web, as the title of one paper put it, allows scores of trees in a forest to convey warnings of insect attacks, and also to deliver carbon, nitrogen, and water to trees in need. When I reached Simard by phone, she described how she and her colleagues track the flow of nutrients and chemical signals through this invisible underground network. They injected fir trees with radioactive carbon isotopes, then followed the spread of the isotopes through the forest community using a variety of sensing methods, including a Geiger counter. Within a few days, stores of radioactive carbon had been routed from tree to tree. Every tree in a plot 30 meters square was connected to the network. The oldest trees functioned as hubs, some with as many as 47 connections. The diagram of the forest network resembled an airline route map. The pattern of nutrient traffic showed how mother trees, so there's another answer for you, Florette, the Torah being a mother tree, they were using the network to nourish shaded seedlings, including their offspring, which the trees can apparently recognize as kin, until they're tall enough to reach the light. And in a striking example of interspecies cooperation, Simard found that fir trees were using the fungal web to trade nutrients with paper bark birch trees over the course of the season. The evergreen species will tide over the deciduous one when it has sugars to spare, and then call in the dead later in the season. For the forest community, the value of this cooperative underground economy appears to be better overall health, more total photosynthesis, and greater resilience in the face of disturbance. So I loved that statement. I bolded it because so too of us. I mean, it was really amazing to me how trees seem to know that they're stronger together, right? And the ways in which they care. I mean, it's hard not to personify the system, but the ways in which they've figured out mutually beneficial exchange and cooperation. So what struck you in this? What can we learn from trees? And how does this feel like a reflection of Torah? Yeah. Yeah, so the theme of community being the connection and how Torah fosters that community, exactly. You know, you're not really supposed to study Torah alone. And look at us, here we are, brought together and sharing ideas and getting to know each other a little bit through studying Torah together. And yeah, Marla.
To me, when we share Torah together, the meaning spreads out among us. Like it means different things to different people, and then we all come together and we share it, the ideas together. Just like in the tree network, they were sharing the food and the nutrients among each other. Whoever needed to hear something would hear it and get meaning one way. Other people would get meaning another way. The way that they were sharing their nutrients, whoever needed it got what they needed out of it.
Yeah, hard to summarize all that, but we create a network of ideas and wisdom that we learn, we take from, and then we also share and we pass on. And I would add that Torah is also it lays out guidelines not really for an individual, you know, and going about their own lives, but for a whole community, a society, and a nation. And it can only, I think, be fully realized when we're able to apply its wisdom in our own communities, the ways it commands us to care for one another and show up for each other, and also out in the broader world, because it really was written as guidance for a nation. And so, any other thoughts before Steve? Yeah.
Community can only exist with individuals that make up the community, each have different talents. And without everyone's specialization, you have to cooperate for specialization to work as a community. Some people are doctors, some people are lawyers, and everybody's got their own way of looking at the world and cooperating so that the community
Yeah, so Steve's talking about specialization actually benefiting the whole. And I would also say on that note, you can't really cut out one part of the forest and expect the whole system to continue to thrive. That we need each other in ways also we don't always realize. I think the way we take nature for granted most of the time, we might take other people for granted and the roles that they play in our economy and society.
Even people with disabilities can benefit society as a whole if they have a lung power.
Yes, yeah. So I want to just kind of conclude with this image I encountered in studying all of the texts on trees in Judaism, and only some of them are reflected here. One of them I liked was this notion of what is the fruit? Well, if the fruit is wisdom, this teaching goes that one who has much wisdom but few deeds is like a tree with heavy branches and weak roots, and a wind will sweep it away. But one with wisdom and many deeds is like a tree that bears fruit and is deeply rooted and stable and strong, and that is what endures. And so that's, I think, the charge for us is not to let the Torah's wisdom exist in this space only, sort of for our own, intellectual benefit, but really to consider the words of the 10 Commandments given in this week's Torah portion and all of the teachings of Torah about caring for one another and also the needs of the stranger, applying them in our community in the ways I know many of you already do, and also out in the world. And that's why I feel really great that Barnard Temple cares on both levels to make sure we are manifesting interconnected, supportive communities, and also taking that, and trying to go and feed the hungry and consider what our role is right now in our nation and issues we might be able to speak to from a Torah perspective, and bringing it out into the world as Dan would always want us to do, right? So thank you for studying with me. I don't need to plug those exact examples of ways you might bring Torah into the world because I will give you announcements that are full of opportunities for that, and we should probably get going because we have an amazing Kiddush for TuBiSh'vat. So we will first offer a Mishaberach, and for anyone in need of healing, and we do that in the presence of Torah, and then we will formally dress the Torah and return it to the Ark. So for this, we'll join together on page 371, and we'll pause in the middle. If there's anyone who you are thinking of in need of healing, please feel free in the middle to share their name aloud. Offer a prayer for healing for the following people. us the Torah, and we will return it to the ark. So I will invite you to please rise in body or in spirit, however you are able.
It is a tree of life to those that hold fast to it, and all of its supporters are happy. It is a tree of life to those that hold fast to it, and all of its supporters are happy. Shalom, 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 shalom. Shalom, 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 shalom.
Page 586 will stay standing.
Aleinu l'shabach l'adon hakol, lateit gedulah liotzer bereshit, shelo asanu kegoyei haratzot, velo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, v'gorelinu k'cho hamona, v'anachnu korim u'mishtachavim u'modim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch.
Page 591, please be seated.
V'ne'emar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol echad u'shemo echad u'shemo echad.
When I die, she said, I am coming back as a tree with deep roots, and I'll wave my leaves to the children every morning on their way to school and whisper tree songs at night in their dreams. Trees with deep roots know about the things that children need. Turn now to the Mourner's Kaddish on page 598. I will share the names of all of those in our community who we are remembering tonight. First, the yard sites that fall on this Shabbat: Gary Amoroso, Fanny Barnert, Elaine Barness, Samuel R. Benjamin, Michael Bernstein, David Cohn, Marcus Cohn, Frank Eckstein, Saul Abraham Gandel, David H. Goldberg, Shirley Hausman, Eva Hefner, Doris Kessler, Carolyn Kessler, Molly Kobolowitz, Yetta Lampert, Martha Levine, Daniel Park Lieblick, George S. Paris, Audrey Real, Ida Rosen Lieblick, Marcus Sharps, and Edna Frances Tarbert Wardell. It's the period of Shloshim, the first 30 days of mourning for Barry Ungerleider, the sister-in-law of Debbie Ungerleider, and Rich Brookler. We are also in the period of Kaddish for your mother, Muriel Rothenberg. And we send our condolences to you, Mark, and to you, Hope, and to your children, Stacy and Mark and Neil. And we extend our condolences, of course, to Barbara Brooks on the death of her husband and our temple member, Dan Brooks. The funeral is Sunday at 12:30 p.m. at the Sanctuary of Abraham and Sarah at Cedar Park. And there will be Shiva at the Brooks' home on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And there was an email sent yesterday evening with information. So we aren't formally saying Kaddish for him yet because the funeral hasn't happened. But of course, Dan is in our hearts, as is Muriel and all of our loved ones who have died at this time in years past. So if you are here to observe a yard site, or if there's anyone else you're remembering and I didn't read their name, please share it with us now so we can also hold them in our prayers. So I invite the mourners amongst us to rise first. And we just want to offer you the blessing that the memories of your loved ones continue to live in you, as the tree of life keeps alive the acts of the righteous and their acts of love and kindness. We hope that you feel them near to you and inspiring you to continue living fully and keeping them close. So Zichronam Livracha, may their memories be for a blessing. And now we can all rise as we are able to join the mourners in our community in reciting the words of Kaddish. Yit Gadal V'Yit Kadash Shmei Rabbah Be'alma Divrach Yeruteh V'Yamlich Malchuteh V'Chai Echon U'Vyom Echon U'Chayei D'Chol Beit Yisrael Ba'Gala U'Vizman Kariv V'Imru Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah Mevarach Le'olam Olamei Almaya Yitbarach V'Yishtabach V'Yitpa'ar V'Yitramam V'Yitnaseh V'Yithadar V'Yit'aleh V'Yithalal Shmei D'Kudashah Barichu Le'ela Min Kol Birchata V'Shirata Tushbechata V'Nechamata Da'amiran Be'alma V'Imru Amen. Yehei Shlama Rabbah Min Shemaya V'Chaim Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael V'Imru Amen. Oseh Shalom B'Imromav Hu Ya'aseh Shalom Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael V'Imru Amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us and to all Israel, to which we say Amen.
Amen.
You may be seated. I now want to thank so much Naomi Rogan and Janet Montroy for the beautiful music in this service. Wow. Yeah, wow. And also the guitar, which I felt like brought us around the campfire in the woods a little bit, really nice for this evening. And also, I have announcements. Okay. So, tomorrow there is no Torah study, but on Sunday, there is Rosh Chodesh. That's you all know, or if you don't know, come see me later to hear about Rosh Chodesh. And the time changed. I just want you to know that they're now meeting at, I believe it's 10 a.m. Yeah, thanks. 10 a.m. And the next date is March 16th. Okay, for Sunday is also the last call for a Sisterhood and Men's Club joint event, mozzarella making and an Italian dinner. And so please register by Sunday. That is on February 27th, and it should be delicious and lots of fun. I think the leaders of it have great big personalities. And Monday, the preschool is closed and the building is closed in observance of President's Day. And Tuesday, the preschool is closed and the building is closed as well. The staff will be working remotely, so if you need anything, you'll get an answer. There's no JJP all week. I have next Shabbat, February 21st, is at 7:30 p.m., and the following day, so at that Shabbat, we have a special guest speaker, right, Vicki? Phoebe Pollinger. So you hear that. It's the state policy advocate for the National Council of Jewish Women, and Vicki helped to bring her to this community, so thank you, Vicki. Come for that talk. I think it'll be really wonderful. And that is in observance also of Repro Shabbat, a Shabbat in which we talk about reproductive rights and the Jewish, support for reproductive rights. The following morning will be another Torah study with Rabbi Joel Sofen, February 22nd. And that will be our first Torah study since Dan's funeral, and I know Rabbi Sofen is. We'll take time to remember him. I know I brought him up a lot. Sorry, it's just it's one of us. It's like our people. So he was. So Rabbi Sofen's Torah study will be very interesting. The theme is love. Topic is love thy enemy. Do it the Torah way. And we have a really great adult ed series ongoing called Sinai and Synapses. It's with Rabbi Jeffrey Middleman. He's a visiting rabbi. It will continue in person and also with a remote option if that's better for you, February 23rd and in March. Looking ahead. I know these were long announcements, so I brought a prop. Okay. Looking ahead. Rise Against Hunger. Okay. I got this hat last year at our event with Rise Against Hunger, and it is a fantastic organization, and everyone truly can be helpful in this effort. So it's a mitzvah experience. We're calling it Shabbat, March 8th. It's a temple-wide event, and basically we get to create a factory here to pack up like nutrient-dense, culturally appropriate, dry foods that will get vacuum sealed and then will be shipped abroad to people who are in need of food. It's a really amazing organization and an awesome thing to be a part of. It was intergenerational last year. I hope it will be again. So please come sign up and tell all your friends. And then we have an iftar dinner with our friends at Peace Islands Institute and Ponds Reformed Church. Look out for that. The Women's Seder, we're going to have a Women's Seder this year. You're not going to remember all these things, so I'm going to stop. But Jan, this you should plug. March 2nd.
Yes, a lot closer than
All of these things.
March 2nd is a wonderful classical concert going to take place here, featuring almost an entire Barnard crew, some of whom you know and love. One of whom, Vlad Lappin, our former cantorial intern, will be joining us to sing at that concert too. It's going to be great. Admission free. If you feel so inclined, you can make a donation, but they are asking for a reservation.
Okay, so please register to attend that. Earlier that day, you can come to an event about estate planning, very informative. Then you can stay for this classical music concert. That'll be a beautiful day for sure. Yes, there's buzz about this event all the way to Cleveland, Ohio. This is real. I got a text message from Cleveland, Ohio this week about this concert. So very exciting things happening. All right. And yes, thank you. And I will say, this week I also attended a issue selection meeting with the RAC where they decided on an issue campaign we will be working on as Reformed Jews in the state of New Jersey, all together across congregations. It was really exciting. The issue that was chosen was the Immigrant Trust Act. So if that is a way that you are excited to bring Torah into the world, come talk to me and I will, connect you to the right people. And we're going to do it. We're going to work on it together. Okay, Shabbat. Thank you for being here. It always feels nice, We can't do this alone. So we will sing Hamotzi and a closing song, and then we'll enjoy a wonderful oneg together with contributions from the Barnard bakers.
Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. We give thanks to God for bread. Our voices rise in song together as our joyful prayer is said. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Shabbat shalom. Later. Okay. Hallelujah.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Thank you.